Hello, welcome to our second YouTube Live Town Hall event. My name is Greg. Some of you may know me. We're joined today by Scott Kohler, who you may remember from our last Town Hall. Scott is our General Manager of Artists and Content. And we're also joined today by Pond5 CEO, Jason Teichman.
Hey, folks.
Welcome, guys. All right, we have a lot of information to get to today, so we're going to jump right in. I'm going to throw it over to Jason.
Cool. Hey, everyone again. Really glad to be here for my first YouTube Town Hall. It's exciting to see how many folks are joining us to participate in this event. I think we have about 300 people registered to attend today. So really awesome to see that participation in this is really growing. You know, we put these on for you all, for our artist community, for our filmmaker community. These programs are really designed to share with you, what we're thinking about, what's on our mind, and of course, update you on any changes. So please take the opportunity to continue to participate. My commitment to you is we'll continue to hold these throughout the year, and I promise they won't waste your time. Today, what we wanted to do is first announce an important change to our contributor agreement, and Scott's going to do that later in a moment. But before we get into that, what I wanted to do today is share with you, what our strategy is for the marketplace, and of course, share with you our perspective on some of the trends that we're seeing in the marketplace. So with that, what I'd like to do is just jump right in. So our marketplace strategy is very simple. We're focused on three things: build the best marketplace for high-value exclusive content, optimize its performance, and create more ways for our artists to earn more money. That's what it's about. That's what we're focused on. So give me an opportunity, if you will, to really dive into what does each one of these things mean. Let's take the first one. Build a marketplace for high-value exclusive content. We'll get into this into a lot of detail later in the presentation, but the thing to take away from this one is really three things. First, buyers really value content that they can't find anywhere else. The second thing is artists that sell content exclusively on Pond5 earn quite a bit more than artists that are selling in multiple places. Ultimately, when we look at the mission behind what we're trying to achieve at Pond5, we not only want to be the place that has the most content in the world, we also want to be the place that has the most content that you can't find anywhere else in the world. Again, more on this is coming in a moment. The second thing that we're really focused on is optimizing the performance of the marketplace. This is really about one thing: generating more sales for you. That's why you can always count on us to test something new, like a new price, a new feature, a new license. That's how we learn, that's how we get better, and that's quite frankly how we make you more money. Over the last several years, the tests that we've performed have unlocked millions of dollars in royalty payments to our artist community. And you have our commitment that whenever we test something that impacts you directly, we'll share this information in forums just like this, and we'll give you the opportunity to decide what you want to do with that information. The last one, and the most important, is our commitment to serve our artists and our filmmaker community. That's what this company has been founded on, by artists and for artists. This commitment to serve is what literally guides every single decision we make. The reality is, when you do well, we do well. When you're not making money on Pond5, we're not making money. We are directly aligned with your success. We have no other motive here other than to maximize your earnings on the Pond5 marketplace. And you have our entire company's commitment that we will do everything in our power to make as many artists successful on Pond5 today and in the future. So let's get into exclusive content for a moment. Why are we so focused on it? The first thing is our buyers really want it. You may ask, how do we know this? And there's a couple ways we know this. The first is we literally talk to thousands of artists every day through our global sales organization, our inside sales team, and our customer support teams. But beyond that, we also conduct market research multiple times a year to our buyer community. The goal behind this market research is really to ask them, what can we get them to do to license more of your content? One of the questions that we recently asked them was, how important is unique exclusive content when making a stock purchase decision? And I think the answer was pretty clear. Over 60% of buyers said that exclusive, unique content was really important, and only 6% said it wasn't. When we dug into this a bit further to understand why they answered the way they did, their answers really started to make a lot of sense. And I'm going to read this for a moment because I want to get their quotes exactly right. We spoke to a creative director at an agency, and she said, "My job is to best represent my brands. I can't risk associating my client's brand with content that is repeatedly being used by other businesses. That's boring, uninspiring, and not what I'm paid to do. We also spoke to a TV producer, and she said, I want to tell an original story, not repeat a story that's been told by others countless times. So when put in this context, I think it's pretty clear to see why buyers really want content that they can't find anywhere else. The other reason why we're super focused on exclusive content is we really want to preserve the value of your work. You know, one thing that we don't really promote a lot, but it's a fact, is about a third of the content on Pond5 today is already exclusive. That means it's not for sale on any other marketplace. You know, one of the things that we wanted to understand was this content, which again, it's exclusive, we don't promote it. We wanted to understand, you know, how does this content perform relative to content that's sold not only on Pond5, but in lots of other places. And what we saw was pretty interesting. Content that was sold exclusively on Pond5 generated 2 times more earnings than content that was sold on the Pond5 marketplaces and lots of other places. And what's amazing about this figure is, as I mentioned just a moment ago, we've done really nothing to promote exclusive content. The buyers are figuring it out on their own. And just think about what they're doing. Buyers are sifting through our content, comparing it and contrasting it to what else they can find on competing marketplaces, and ultimately rewarding these artists with 2 times more sales than content that can be found in many places. Just imagine what would happen if we started to actively promote and market content that can't be found anywhere else. I think the impact would be even more dramatic. You know, since I've been CEO of this company, I've had the privilege to talk to hundreds of artists on our marketplace. And time again, I'm rightfully reminded that we need to do whatever it takes to preserve the value of your work. One of the challenges we all need to address as a community is the simple fact that buyers shop around. And the reality is when the same exact content is sold everywhere else, the only option for all the marketplaces that you see on this page for these guys to differentiate themselves is to sell your work for less money than the next guy. The simple fact is when you sell your clips on other marketplaces where you don't control the price, you risk degrading the value of your work and making less money on all your marketplaces. This isn't conjecture, it's a fact, and please allow me to prove it to you. You know, I sit next to our creative partners, which is basically our sales organization that serves all the top production companies, film agencies, brands around the world. And they have one job: to license as many of your clips for the most amount of value they can possibly get. They're probably the most aligned with you than anyone else in your organization because they literally don't make money unless you make money. I benefit from sitting next to them because they're on the front lines. They're the ones talking to buyers every day. And it's this proximity to these folks allows me to really keep a pulse on the market and get a sense of what's really happening. I want to share with you an example of a situation that we encounter every day at Pond5. In this example here, we were working with a high-end production company to license them clips for their documentary. The documentary was pretty cool. It was chronicling the impact of global warming on cities around the world. It was produced by a premier production company, top-notch director, DP, the works. And of course, naturally, they went to Pond5 to supplement the clips they couldn't shoot on their own. We curated a collection of over 100 stunning clips that, I mean, they were truly remarkable. And they really improved the overall value of their production. Some of these clips happened to be exclusive, some of them not exclusive and were sold on other sites. Like everyone in the world, they also operate on a budget, so resources aren't infinite. So what did they do? They hired an intern. She had only one job. Her job was to take every single clip that she found on Pond5 and see if she could find it on other marketplaces that were licensed it for less money. Here's what happened. For clips that were exclusive to Pond5, the price that the artist set was basically what we sold it for. For the Pond5 clips that were also sold on Shutterstock, Shutterstock is a business and they wanted to get that business. So they, of course, offered to beat our price by, in this case, 20%. The intern then took the Shutterstock quote and then went basically the equivalent of across the street and went to Getty and told them, hey, I found all these clips at Shutterstock. I also see them on your marketplace. Can you beat it? And Getty also is a business who wants this production company's business, and they beat their price by 50%. And round this process went until it finally came back to Pond5, where the production company said to us, hey, we love you guys, but we found all these clips on these other marketplaces for less money. Can you match this price? This phenomenon takes place all the time. The power we give to artists to set their own price, unfortunately, is only as good as the lowest price another marketplace will sell your content for. The reality is, when the same exact clip is sold on multiple marketplaces, the more it risks becoming commoditized. And when commoditization sets in, the value of your work and the sales of your work is no longer driven by the uniqueness of your video. It's no longer driven by your artistry or your craftsmanship or the story being told or the investment you made or the blood, sweat, and tears that you put into making it what it is. The value of your work is now determined by whether or not the next marketplace will sell it for, quite frankly, a little bit less money than the next guy. Folks, this is how the race to the bottom begins, and this is me sounding the alarm. I know many of you may be thinking, Jason's being overly dramatic. Man, is he negative. I never met the guy, but he sounds pretty tough. I can tell you this. The quotes that I'm hearing are the same quotes that we've heard at the very beginning when the stock image market started to decline. Buyers don't shop around. My footage is great. All my stuff is shot in 4K. This isn't going to happen to me. What you're looking at here is a graph of the average price that buyers paid for stock images over time. And I think there's a lot of lessons we can learn from what happened in this part of the market. In the beginning, it was great for everyone. Images were being sold for hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars. Everyone was winning. Naturally, like every great market, others entered. More marketplaces started to get formed, and artists understandably saw this as a phenomenal opportunity to maximize their distribution and put content on lots of other marketplaces. And for a while, this worked. But ultimately, since all the marketplaces had virtually the same exact content, the only thing they could do to differentiate from one another was to sell it cheaper than the next person. And thus, the race to the bottom began. Images stopped being sold as art and started selling like the commodity where the lowest price wins. We're literally now at the point where you can license an image for $1, a penny, or I'm not kidding, even free. I have no idea how that works. I know this information may be new to you, startling to others. Some of you may not even believe me. Those who doubt my characterization, I implore you to confer with the folks who have literally lived through this. I can tell you, regrettably, we're starting to see the early signs of this in the footage side of the market. I've been here for a couple of years, and when I first joined the company, we had a few buyers sheepishly ask us if we'd be willing to license them clips for $50. And we were like, hell no, that's not the price our artist sets, so we won't do it. Now I can tell you, we have people asking us if we'll license them videos for dollars, single dollars. And when we say no, they just go to one of the other marketplaces who are more than happy to honor that price. As CEO of this company, my promise to you is this. I will do everything in my power to prevent this race to the bottom. Remember, when you win, we win. I will not allow commoditization to kick in here. We can beat this trend. There is absolutely a better way. Your videos don't need to be sold like a commodity. Your videos can be sold like the artistic expressions that they are. We are all in a phenomenal industry with phenomenal opportunity in front of us. The demand for video content is exploding. Consumption is growing exponentially every single year. Imagine what happens when we take this growth in consumption and pair it with a fair price versus a declining price. It unlocks massive royalty payouts for everyone, and we can all win. I could also tell you that the opportunity on Pond5 has never been greater. You are part of the world's largest video platform that's growing faster than everybody else, with the best video artists, with the best community, with the best video experience, and more importantly, with a purpose firmly rooted in serving the artist community. We can win, and we will win, but we really need your help. What I'd like to do right now is turn this over to Scott, who's going to walk you through what we've been doing up to this point and some of our plans going forward. Scott?
Yeah, and even before I start, I want to emphasize, I spend a lot of time with artists, and I know there's a great many of you that don't believe that that buyers are shopping around. As recently as last summer, I can remember getting cornered by a couple contributors who wanted to talk to me and tell me that they didn't believe it, that that they didn't believe that buyers were shopping around. And I said, guys, I really think this is happening. I see some of the pressure on our marketplace, but they were convincing, they were compelling, and I came away from that experience and I came back to the office and I did something similar to what Jason's outlining. I said to the guys that are selling every day, I said, can you guys just send me a message the next time you get someone shopping saying, I found this clip on Pond5, I found it cheaper somewhere else, or vice versa. And after a week, I had to ask them to stop because they were sending me so many messages. This is real. We can't put our heads in the sand and pretend it's not happening. It is happening. And I want to emphasize that because I hear it from the artists I talk to all the time. Okay. So I thought I'd start by, before we got to the news for today, I thought I'd start by emphasizing a couple things we do to really protect your work today. You guys are all familiar with this, so I'll go through it pretty quickly. But first and foremost, artists on Pond5 control their price. If you go out and shoot something, it's a street scene, it's a sunset, it's something you see in your everyday life, and it's a good shot. You can put that up on the site, and maybe you think it's worth $50, maybe you think it's worth 25, maybe you think it's worth 100. You decide. If you catch a great shot, something rare, something unique, maybe a moment in history, you can set the price on that at $500 or $100 or $25 if that's what you think it's worth. And to us, it's important that artists have that control, that they determine what they want to price their content at. They set the value of their work. Second, we've put a lot of work and time into building out a global distribution partnership. And we work with a number of partners all around the world. We also work with a couple really broad scale distributors. And that was our intent, to reach markets that we don't get to and find other broad scale markets that we could leverage and get more opportunity for our artists. And what we found is, a couple years into it, is that we're seeing in Asia, for example, where we partnered with a number of premier marketplaces, that they're actually selling your content for 2 to 3 times as much as the same content is being listed on Pond5. This is great. We love it. We've also, everyone knows about our partnership with Adobe and how we share content with them and help them to augment their market. We've also chosen this year to launch our partnership with Vimeo. That happened last week, and we're already seeing positive signs there. And what we love about these two partnerships is that these are great partners that have access to millions of high intent buyers. And they're aligned with us on the way we want to go to market, the principles we believed in. But most importantly for you, we've negotiated with them over the prices that can be offered on their marketplaces. So even though you're getting that broad distribution of being on Vimeo and Vimeo and Adobe, you get that benefit of distribution without the worry that they're going to come back to us and try and negotiate on Pond5 for a lower price, because we've already done that negotiation and we're holding firm on that price. The thing that's special about this is that it's your choice. We believe in it, obviously. We think it's a great program and we expect the revenue to double again this year. But if you choose that you don't want to be part of the global distribution program, you can opt out. Likewise, our limited licensing program is similar, although what we try and achieve there is we try and reach out to markets that are not purchasing stock today. We try and show them how they can use stock in the things they're doing, and we try and create opportunities. Oftentimes, these incremental opportunities, these businesses we're talking to can't afford to pay the price that an agency or a corporation could pay, but they're willing to trade and limit the license. So we might limit the license to single use on their platform for 1 year. By constricting the license in that way, we're limiting the distribution of your content, and in exchange, we're lowering the price. We believe that this is incremental value to you, and we think it's worthwhile, and that's why we go after these deals. But again, you're in control. You decide. If you want to be a part of it, you can. If you don't want to, you can opt out. Last but not least, we have a great team that's really focused on your success. Greg kicked off this town hall today by saying, some of you may know me, and that's no exaggeration. I know that Greg speaks with a number of you through direct message, through the forums, and even on the phone calls and video chats. He's just one of many people who are dedicated to your success, including our curation team, our customer support team, and our sales and marketing teams. What we think is most important is we try and make sure that not only do we support you in the ways that we think will benefit the community, but also that we put a human face on it. You know, we try and make sure, for example, that our customer support, that every response or every inquiry from an artist gets a human response, that someone actually sees it, reads it, touches it, and sends back a reply. That's important to us. I don't think there's any other marketplace that gives you this level of control and access. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm biased, but that's my take. So, the news for today. In response to what we've been seeing in the marketplace on both sides, you know, both on the buyer and seller side, today we're pleased to announce that we're launching the Pond5 Exclusivity program. For artists, we believe this program will give them a way to combat the race to the bottom. For buyers, we believe it gives them a unique opportunity to find the exclusive content that they desire and for which they're willing to pay more. How's this going to work? Or rather, why as a video artist should I choose to become exclusive? Well, the first thing is, on a slide earlier, we showed you that exclusive contributors make more money. Second, now that we're launching this program, we are going to highlight artists who go exclusive. That highlighting will promote those artists more and will drive incremental sales. In addition, we're going to give artists who choose to go exclusive a 60% royalty share. We're going to do this while maintaining the controls you already have in place around pricing and distribution, and we're going to do it with no long-term commitment. You can change your exclusive status with a 6-month notice period. Many artists I've talked to have had similar opportunities from other marketplaces, but they were required to sign a 1 or a 2 or even a 3-year contract to list exclusively with them. We don't think it should be that hard. So our promise to you is that you can sign up and you can opt out with just 6 months notice. That 6 months is important because for our buyer's sake, it's important that they have access to the content, and it wouldn't be fair to them if we had content that was exclusive one day, not exclusive the next, exclusive again, not exclusive the next. So that's why we've done that, but we feel like 6 months is a lot more palatable than 1, 2, or 3 years. So not only can you earn more, but you can stop buyers from shopping your work and preserve the value of your work. This is a mock-up that came out of our design department, and it's just an example of one of the many ways that we're going to be highlighting exclusive content. You can see that under the Pond5 watermark, we've put an exclusivity banner. And on the left-hand rail, you can see that there'll be a filter that'll allow buyers to search for just exclusive content. We're going to do a number of things, but this is one of the things that we're planning to put into market. As Jason said, we want to be known as not just the world's largest video market, but we want to be known as the world's largest marketplace for exclusive content. And our marketing is going to start to shift to reflect that. For those of you who choose not to go exclusive with Pond5, you're going to maintain the same control over your price that you've always had. You're going to still be able to opt in and out of our distribution and limited licensing programs. And we are going to maintain our search algorithm exactly as it is. There will be no preference in the algorithm for exclusive or non-exclusive content. The reason for that is really simple. We believe that the best way to get a buyer to purchase from us is to show them the most relevant content for what they've searched for. Whether that's exclusive or non-exclusive, we don't care. We want to show the most relevant content every time. That will not change. And last but not least, we're not changing anything about the level of account management, curation, customer support that you've come to expect from Pond5. Nothing about the way we support you today will change. What will change is your royalty share. Beginning April 8th, non-exclusive artists will begin to receive a 40% royalty split. Exclusive artists will get the 60%, as I mentioned before. We would love to be able to give all non-exclusive artists 50% like we always have, but we cannot continue to pay this, more for the same content that artists are allowing to be sold for less at a lower royalty share on other marketplaces. We've tried to balance this. For exclusive artists, we're giving a slightly larger share. For non-exclusive artists, we're still giving the highest rate for any, the highest royalty share for anyone in the industry, at least at a scaled size as big as us. And ultimately, we believe that this move, with your help, is going to be a change that leads to benefit for all of the community. That last part is important to me. The whole community. What we've seen happen in other marketplaces is they grant exclusivity or other benefits to a lucky few. We'd love to see every artist in our marketplace today sign up to be an exclusive artist. That would be a win for us. So it's up to each artist to decide. Will they choose exclusivity, where we believe that they'll preserve the value of their work, they'll control the price and distribution, and they'll earn more money? If you'd like to become exclusive, enrollment opens today. Following this town hall, Greg will take you through some of the next steps, but after this town hall, you'll be able to sign up. If you choose to be non-exclusive, you'll maintain the flexibility to distribute your content on whatever platform, wherever you want, and you'll continue to control your price and your distribution. While no action is required to go non-exclusive, we do encourage you to visit the page we put together that explains the program, and more importantly, view the perspectives of other artists that we've been talking to in our journey to come to this program's launch. This is a really important decision for every video artist. You can choose to be exclusive, and we believe we've created a program that's really attractive and that we believe can benefit you greatly. If you decide not to, we promise to continue to support you in exactly the way we do today, with an industry-leading royalty rate. To help you decide, we thought it would be best to take you through some of the thoughts of other contributors, some of your other peers. Greg, you want to take this?
Thanks a lot, Scott. The absolute best part of my job is speaking to artists. It is truly a privilege. Sometimes our conversations are easy, sometimes they're tough, but I learn something every single time I get on the phone with one of you. In advance of this launch, I've been speaking to a lot of you to get your feedback, and I'd like to take some time here to highlight some of the things I heard. For a while now, I've been hearing a lot from artists about the race to the bottom. The folks that have been in this industry for a long time know that this is a very real concern. We're really excited to announce that we've brought several stock industry veterans on board for this program, including two very well-known names, Hotel Foxtrot and Via Films. Both Helen Fields and David Baumber from Hotel Foxtrot and Daniel Hurst from Via Films told me similar stories about witnessing firsthand what happened to the stock photo industry when a saturation of the same content on multiple agencies forced prices lower and lower, to the point where today, as one well-known photo supplier recently told me, his back-end software literally broke when trying to pay an artist because it couldn't divide a penny. 1 penny. The only way to ensure that this doesn't happen in the video market as well, Helen and David told us, is for creators to take control of their content, to not spread it around, but to keep it in one place that respects its value and pays you fairly. Value is the key word here. What is the value of your work? When I spoke to Pascal Marchand, for example, he told me going exclusive was an easy choice because getting a fair price for his work is extremely important to him. Pascal shoots news and editorial footage around Montreal. Maybe that day he rushed to the scene of a protest or caught footage of firefighters putting out a building fire with his drone. Some of his most compelling footage on Pond5 was taken during riots in Hamburg, Germany in 2017. If you're going to bring a 4K camera into the middle of a riot, doesn't that footage deserve to be sold for a fair price? Another example, Jim Eds chases storms from Bermuda to Hong Kong, literally risking his life to capture visceral images of nature's destructive power. Jim is also very concerned about value. He wanted us to warn artists about the dangers of undercutting their own prices by distributing to too many marketplaces, in effect, becoming their own worst enemies. Some of you may know Andreas Hull, otherwise known as Vader Video. In addition to having some great time-lapse footage, Andy also has really keen high-level perspective on the industry. He pointed out to me that if you, as an artist, are going to distribute your work to multiple sites, then your set price means nothing. Following simple rules of economics, the true value of your work simply becomes whatever lowest price our competitors are willing to offer that day. The artists that I have just quoted to you have decided to make this leap with us to fight the race to the bottom, protect the creative value of their work, and ensure that footage licensing at fair, artist-controlled price points continues to flourish for many years to come. As Scott referenced earlier, we've actually assembled a full page on our contributor portal where you can watch interviews with each of these artists explaining the reasons why they are joining the Pond5 exclusivity program. So please, don't just take our word for it. Listen to your peers, including some of the leading content creators in the industry, explain these very real market dynamics. The race to the bottom is not an inevitability if we work together to stop it. So what are next steps? After this presentation, you'll be receiving an email from Pond5 with more information about the exclusivity program, with links to a landing page to sign up, and also to our artist interviews on the contributor portal. Go to that contributor portal page, I urge you. Watch those videos. Listen to your peers who know the industry and have decided to make a stand for themselves and for all artists. The new royalty rate and program go into effect on Monday, April 8th, giving you time to think things over and make a decision. Send any questions or feedback you have to exclusive@pond5.com. We hope you'll join us in protecting the future of the stock footage industry. Jason?
Thanks, Greg. Well, look, I know we threw a lot of information at you today, so please take the time to process it. There's a lot of good stuff, not only in the presentation which we shared, which will be available, but also on the contributor portal. As Greg mentioned, we have a lot of information from colleagues who have their own perspectives on the space and have lived through similar things on the stock imagery side of the market. So please take the time to make a careful assessment of what's best for you. I could tell you, personally, as CEO of the company and the entire management team here, we will do everything in our power to make sure and stop dead in its track any degradation in the value of your work and any sort of race to the bottom. We know and we believe, and I know you believe, that your work does not need to be sold like a commodity. It should be sold based on its artistic merits and the value of the story inherent in it. That's what we believe, and that's what we should demand. We have an incredible community of amazing and talented filmmakers and artists. And when we take the power of this community and we work together to demand a fair value for your work, the results and the opportunity that we can create for all of us will be extraordinary. So we hope you join us on this journey. We hope that you find this program compelling. We hope that you make the decision that's best for your business and join us to make sure that everybody can win in this terrific marketplace. With that, thank you very much for spending time with us this afternoon or this morning, depending on where you're sitting. And I'm going to turn it back over to Greg.
That's right. So we're going to do a little bit of a question and answer period now. So as I mentioned, we've been dialoguing with many of you in advance of this rollout, and we've fielded some very interesting questions that we thought would benefit the entire community to hear us answer live on the air. So the first question I have here is, what if I have content on other marketplaces, but I want to join this program? So I'll take this one. You can still join the program today if you have content on other marketplaces. We've built in a 2-week buffer period to allow you time to take your content down off those other marketplaces. When you get the email and go to the landing page, there'll be a flow for this. You'll be able to indicate if you're ready to join the program immediately or if you need that 2-week buffer. The next question, this may be a good one for you, Scott. How will exclusive artists be promoted in marketing?
Marketing, that's a better one for Jason.
Okay, I'll take that one. So a couple things here. An important question, of course. I think it starts with, as what I mentioned at the very beginning of today's presentation. we want to be known as the marketplace that not only has the most videos available, but the most videos available that you can't find anywhere else. That's really important. And the things that we're going to be doing to promote that really will represent a major shift in how we market and present the brand and the overall marketplace. First, we're going to make it really easy for buyers to find exclusive content when they're searching on our marketplace. We gave you an example of one of those ways today. Every piece of footage that's exclusive will be branded and badged as a Pond5 exclusive. We're even going to be setting up capabilities via filtering so that if you only wanted to search for exclusive content, you could, of course, do that by filtering your search results. Beyond that, our global sales organization, our inside sales teams who work with all the major TV production companies and brands and agencies around the world, these are the folks who really, really value exclusive content. When they're working with those organizations, they'll, of course, be positioning and letting our buyers know what content that they're looking at is exclusive and what content they're looking at can be sold is not exclusive. On top of that, when you think about all of the marketing and promotions that we do today via social media and properties around the world, we'll of course continue to promote all of our clips, but we'll particularly be emphasizing our exclusive content and our exclusive videos. And then lastly, every buyer that comes to Pond5 when they join us for the first time to when they return for the th time, we'll of course be reminding them of the opportunity they have to buy any clip that literally exists anywhere around the world, but in particular clips that they can't find anywhere else in the world. And those will, of course, only exist on Pond5.
Quick anecdote to that point, actually. Just 10 minutes before going live, I had one of our senior salespeople ping me on Slack. And he said, and of course my response was, leave me alone, I'm going on the air in 10 minutes, I'm in the zone. But actually his question was very apropos, which was, I am on the phone right now with a Fortune 500 company, and they are asking me, how can I isolate the exclusive content on your site?
Cool.
So I told him, stay tuned.
Very cool.
All right, let's answer another question here. What content is considered exclusive? Scott?
Sure. Exclusive, this is pretty straightforward. Exclusive content is content that is only sold on the Pond5 marketplace, with two exceptions. If you shot the footage yourself and you want to use it in your own project, of course you can use it. And if you want to sell it on your own website, that's fine as well. As long as it's not distributed to other marketplaces, we're fine with that. That's exclusive content.
So just to give an example, I'm an artist, I shoot my own content, I have a client who comes to me directly, I'm still free to license it to that client.
Absolutely, yep.
What if I sell more than just video on Pond5, or if I sell another media type? As Scott pointed out, this program is a video exclusive program. So if you're a music artist, or if you have After Effects or photos or any other media type on Pond5, all of those media types are remaining at the current royalty split. Let's see. Does exclusive content have different curation guidelines for acceptance than non-exclusive? Do you want to take that, Scott?
Yeah, there's no difference. We'll be curating with the same rules we have been, the same rules we've optimized and fine-tuned over the last couple of years. We'll continue to do exactly the same thing. No dispensation in either way. All content will be curated exactly the same way as it has been.
Great. And I think we went over this, but I think it bears repeating. The question is, Jason, what happens if I no longer want to be exclusive with Pond5?
It's really easy. Just send us a note. And we have this basic 6-month notification period for the sole reason where we just don't want artists coming in and out of the program, because if you only stay in it for like a week, it's not really exclusive and not fair to our buyers. But just send us a note and we'll remove you from the program.
This is probably one that we have to answer. What happens if I have non-exclusive content in my exclusive account, Scott?
Don't do that, first of all. Our marketplace is based on trust. If you put content into an exclusive account and it's not really exclusive, then you're lying, and that's not good. We don't want that to happen. It undermines the integrity of the marketplace.
Yeah, I'll just add to that. The whole marketplace literally is built on trust. Buyers trust us that everything we license to them, the copyright's been cleared. If there's a model in there, the model release has been properly collected. If it requires a property release, the property release has properly been collected. This whole system works on trust, and we want buyers to trust the marketplace, and because when there's trust, people license more content. When there's no trust, they start to become suspicious, and that's not really good for anybody.
All right. I think we have time for just one more question. This is a good one. Why is the Global Partnership Program included in the exclusivity program, Jason?
Cool, I'll take that one. Yeah, I mean, the Global Partnership Program, or what we refer to internally as GPP, I think really represents the absolute best of both worlds. You know, when you're in the Global Partnership Program, you get access to, for those of you wondering what that pinging sound is, we have our New York City radiator turning on right now. So just give it a moment for it to subside. All right.
All right.
I'll keep going and then
On cue.
On cue. Excellent. So the Global Partnership Program is super cool. So like with one upload, you get access to markets that are either selling your content at a super premium price. You know, Scott mentioned some of the markets that we currently have distribution access to, like in Asia, where because of their market dominance, because of their presence, they're selling your clips for like multiples of what may be normally sold elsewhere, and that's super cool and I think really beneficial for all the artists that participate. And the other thing that it does is it gives you access to other marketplaces without having to worry that your price is going to be traded down for a cheaper and cheaper price. Some examples of that are, Adobe's on our platform, Vimeo, which we just launched, is on our platform. And the cool thing about partners like that is they've already agreed to the pricing structures that we manage our artist content to, which is you can't discount it below the prices that we already agreed to. So you don't have to worry that a buyer is going to go to Vimeo and then come back to Pond5 to try to get it cheaper, because they can't, they won't. And the last thing that's just really cool about it is we've negotiated programs in some cases where if you go through Pond5, the royalty rates that you'll get through us, you may not be able to get by going even directly to that marketplace on your own. Another benefit we're able to provide you all by going through this program. I think that's it. Actually, one more. Sorry. The other cool thing is, in many cases, we operate as the way that these marketplaces actually ingest content. Some of them can't actually even get content if it's not for our system. So there's some cases where even if you try to get access to the marketplace, they just don't have the means to actually ingest your content and put it up there in any time frame that you would find remotely acceptable. When you go through Pond5, through one upload, your content gets up there right away. So that's just some of the many benefits I think the program provides.
It's great. So one upload to Pond5, even if you're in our exclusivity program, full distribution on all these platforms with all the price controls that Pond5 gives you. It's great.
You said it much better than I did.
It's inspired by the radiator.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that concludes the question and answer period. We want to remind you guys of what the next steps are. Again, you will be receiving an email very soon after the conclusion of this presentation. It's going to link you to a landing page where you can read more information and join the flow for the sign up. Please do navigate to that contributor portal page as well, where you can watch those artist perspectives on exclusivity. They're absolutely amazing. You should really check them out. Remember that changes do not go into effect until April 8th. You have time to think things over and make a decision. During that time, contact us if you need to, ask us questions, send us feedback. The address is exclusive@pond5.com. I think that wraps it up for us.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks so much, everybody.
Time.